Hello and welcome to another exciting Blender tutorial. Today we'll be making this really cool sci-fi image using Eevee. Hope you're excited. Let's jump into it. Check out the Patreon where you can get the project file for this tutorial if you join at the second tier and up. You can also get the full uncut version of this tutorial, which is me rambling on and going on all kinds of tangents. And you can also join on YouTube here to get the same thing. You get the uncut tutorials on YouTube as well. This is Blender 3.6. I'm going to click the default cube and delete it. It's Blender, it's what we do. And I'm going to go Shift A and I'm going to start off with a plane. And I'm going to scale this plane up. Let's add a subdivision surface modifier to it. This is going to create some more mesh for us. So just, subdivide it without having to commit those subdivisions. We can explore, how many we really want. I'm just going to switch to simple so it doesn't round things out. And I'll just turn these up maybe to 3. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to add in a displacement modifier. And we're going to click new to create a new texture. And we'll automatically name it texture. We can call it whatever we want. Ground. We'll come down to the texture tab, which you can see ground map is automatically loaded. You can click this drop down if you had other ones we wanted to work on, but we're just going to work on this one. And I want to use, instead of image or movie, we're going to go for clouds. I'm just going to drag the size out until we start getting a lot of shape to it. And I'm now going to increase my subdivisions. So I'll just increase these and I'll take the strength down because I don't need it to go up that high. You can see we're just kind of creating sort of a rough landscape. My camera. Now we're wasting a lot of stuff. You can see a lot of geos behind our camera. So I'm going to grab X and just bring this forward. I'm going to right click and shade smooth. And I'll click the object and I'm going to go ahead and apply this displacement. And actually first I have to apply the subdivision and then I can apply the displacement. And then I'm going to come over here to sculpt mode. And I'm going to pick, let's see, maybe the inflate. I want to let Blender generate geometry for me wherever I do my sculpting. So what I need to do is come over here. If I just middle mouse click, I can move this section up here. I'll come over to the top. I'm going to go to Dyna Topo, and I'm just going to turn that on. Click OK. And now what I can do is wherever I sculpt, you can see I'm going to get more geometry. So I'm just going to have a look in my camera and just paint these sections. This is dependent on how close you are. So you can see as I zoom in, it's getting more and more fine, the mesh. So I can just sculpt out a landscape. It's great because I'm going to push that down. I want to actually change the shape. So I might go and click this minus button. This will make the effect go the other direction. Actually, what I was going to do clay strength, my clay brush. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, nice. This is kind of cool. On with these sort of ridges, get these peaks and stuff. Everybody get up. Be cool. It's just about good enough. Okay, great. So we've got this ridiculously cool landscape. I'm going to go over to object mode. All right, great. So we've got this cool look, but it's very faceted. You can see all the polygons. So I'm going to click on the object, right click on it, and shade smooth. That will shave it all smooth. Okay, now what I'm going to do is make our hero object next, the thing that's going to be like the focal point of our scene. So I'm going to create a, let's see, Shift A, mesh, a cube, go into edit mode, go to face mode up here, select the top face. Scale this down to 0. I'm going to select this face right here. We're going to E to extrude, Z, bring it down, scale 0. All right, great. Let's start working on some materials. So I'm going to grab the little cross shape and drag over onto this window. That'll get rid of it. And I'll bring this up, make sure we got our shader editor visible. And I'm going to switch over to rendered view using Eevee. So come over here to the render tab, make sure Eevee is selected. I'm going to turn on ambient occlusion. I'll keep bloom off for, actually I'll turn bloom on. Screen space reflections, we'll leave everything else. Anyways, let's grab our little light here. Let's go ahead and delete that because we don't want to use a point light. I'm going to go Shift A and I'm going to create a sun lamp. Now sun lamp is just a directional light, so it doesn't matter where it is. Its position doesn't matter, it's just its angle. It's all that matters. So we can angle this thing around. Now I'm going to turn off all my controllers and all my widgets and stuff, so I've got a really clean, clear view. For this, I'm going to switch from object to world, and I'm just going to make this black. I'm going to grab noise texture and a color ramp. I'll drop this here. We're going to take the factor into the factor, color into the color. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the scale up to something like 600. And then we're going to bring the black pip way up so that we get stars. I'm going to want to put some atmospheric stuff going on there too. So I think in the world shader still, I'm going to come over here. We're going to grab a volume scatter node. And we'll plug this into the volume. This will get rid of everything. And I'll turn the density down to like 0.01 maybe. And I'll change my anisotropy to like 0.9, 0.8. And then I'm going to take my sun, shift U to duplicate. R and Z, we're going to rotate. Actually, first let's switch from local to global. Now RZ, this way we can bring it around. And this volume scatter node with the anisotropy turned up like this means that we're going to get this halo effect around our light. So I can use this now as a part of my mood in my scene. And I'm going to give this light a color. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to give it like a, I don't know, maybe a bit of a blue or something. Something cool like that. Let's go ahead and take this cube. This will be our artifact, and we can rotate this a little bit probably. Get some of that on the side. Looks quite nice. And let's switch from world to object mode. And I'm going to click new to create a new shader for this thing. And I'm going to take my roughness all the way down close to 0. And I will take the base color and turn it down as well. Maybe we'll make it metallic. We'll turn the metallic all the way to 1. And that'll give us, yeah, you can see we're reflecting the stars. And we need to probably have a bit of a bump on this. So we'll bring the roughness down, bring the color up to more of a white. This will make it more like a mirror-like surface. I might grab a Musgrave texture and a color ramp. Let's drop this here. We're going to plug the height into the factor, and then I'll take the color. And I'll plug this into a Shift A, type in bump, drop the bump there, grab the color node and stick it into the height. And we'll take that, put it in the normal. That'll start giving us some really cool bump. And I'm going to drag these around to kind of cut it off a little bit, increase the scale. And it's a little hard because, you know, we can't really see it clearly with this lighting, but it's not too big of a deal. I'm going to take the distance down to 0.1, maybe 0.01. Distance is the way it calculates what's the height between the brightest value and the darkest value in the height map, which is being generated by this. It's just a grayscale image of some noise, and the white values are considered high and the black values are considered low. And so when it calculates the way light should bounce off this object with the bump node, the distance is basically saying how far apart are those things. So you can get a real subtle, you know, effect, or you can turn it up just by messing with that. So let's do the landscape. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to click new, create a new material. So I clicked on the landscape there. I don't know if you saw that. So there's a plane. And let's do the same kind of thing. Let's grab a Voronoi texture this time, a color ramp. Pop this here. Pop, pop. Take the distance, plug it into the factor. We'll take the color. Let's plug the. Let's grab a bump, and we're going to do the height map thing again. So plug the color into the height, and the normal into the normal, and decrease that scale a whole lot. Now it's weird that we suddenly got this right down. Take the distance down to 0.1. You can see the effect. You kind of get more fall off. 0.05 in between things, which is cool. Let's switch this from linear to ease. It'll make it a little more gradual, the fall off between these. Go smooth F1. It's also going to smooth stuff out. All right, now I'm going to break it up even further. I'm going to introduce some more noise into this. So I'm going to grab a noise texture. And I'm going to come over here and grab a texture coordinate node. Texture coordinate node will plug the generated into the vector. This is what's already happening. So this is the default. It's already using this generated coordinate. So we're just saying do the same thing you're already doing, but now we're going to mix a bit of information into this. So grab a mix node, and we want a vector. So I'm going to switch this. We want to make sure that the color matches. So vectors are purple in Blender. So bring that in there. It's all right that this isn't a vector. This is just creating a single sort of set of values, but we're going to treat it as if it was a vector. I want to unclick clamp factor. Just drag it around a little bit, and this will just create some extra noise. Turn the roughness up and the detail. And you can see what it does. It just gives us this nice little bit of extra pizzazz. I don't think we're going to change these at all. Okay, this is kind of nice for like a really fine detail noise, but I feel like we need some bigger noises as well in this. So let's do that. I might use another noise texture, grab another mix node, and I will multiply this one in with this one. So I'm going to switch this to color, and we're going to go multiply, grab the distance and the factor, and I'll turn it all the way up, and I'll plug this into here. And this one I'm going to keep quite large, I think. So duplicate this color ramp, bring this over here so we have a little more control over this. What this is going to do is it's going to cut out sections. And then what we can do is we can bring these together. And that'll get a bit harder edge towards on a breakpoint. And then we can create another noise. I could use this as the factor. Like if I plug that in as the factor, and then this one in as the B value, then it's going to basically, this will be the thing that determines which one it shows me. Let's go over here. We're going to go for a mapping node, and I'll drop this right there. Okay, so with this breakup, makes for a much more naturalistic look. It's going to be much lighter, much nicer for us, I think, creating a cool texture. So if you want to know the actual details that I've got here, I ended up with this mapping node. The Z scale is set to 0.11, probably just speak 0.1 to be simple. Yeah. And that is being fed into both the mix node and the noise texture. Again, the noise texture is set to 84, detail of 4, roughness is 0.6. This is distorting this the generated mapping coordinate. So it's distorting the surface by a factor of 0.071, and that is being fed into this Voronoi noise texture, which is the actual noise texture that we're using to generate this bump. And this distortion changes the way it looks. And then we're mixing that with this other noise vector, which creates a factor of like where to put this noise, where to put the other noise. And the other noise is this one right here, and it's just being fed in to the top socket there, with the scale of 29. But these scales might be different for you if you've got a different size plane. But anyways, roughly gets you in the same spot. Okay, so all that's just for the bump. Now let's figure out the base color. I'm going to bring it down, make it sort of like a black lava flow, but not all the way black. You see I've got kind of like a grayish color, which is going to work out a lot better. And I'm going to turn the specular up, make it nice and shiny, and maybe bring the roughness down a little bit, something like that. It looks quite nice. Okay, now I'm thinking it'd be cool to have some like lava cracks somewhere in this. They need to follow the bump. So we need to probably pick out this ridge. I wonder which bump is creating that, and how can we use it? So let's try and isolate. I'm going to mute some nodes. So by hitting M, you can mute a node. When it goes away, it gives you a chance to kind of see, you know, what the others are doing. So looks like it's just coming from our main system. Yeah, these guys are right in here. So it's coming through this system here. So if we pipe out from this, we'll be able to use it. I'm just going to put that in like that, and then I'll unmute these guys. Now to help me kind of pinpoint it, I'm going to plug this into the emission. Let that show up. There we go. Now we want to try and like get a white line basically right in those specific bits where the bump feels the strongest. So I'm going to create the plus, create another pip, drag this one to the other side and make it black. So this way we've got sort of black on both sides. And now what we can do is we can move this around until we get a little bit of white, like a line of white. And we can decide where to place it. Now this is like covering everything quite uniformly. So I don't think we're going to end up using this for a bump, like lava cracks, unless we can find like a section of it that's quite, you know, reduced, like it's only hitting it a little bit. Like this is probably still a bit too much. I mean, a little bit's kind of cool, but I would like to get a lot more out of it than that, I think. But this is, you can see what I was talking about. See how it looks like it's sitting like in the gap. I wonder if we should be using this one instead. Let's just plug that in and see. This is going to have the, you know, the elements that are cut out. It's a little bit better. It's still a bit too much. See where it lands. I mean, that's all right. It's not bad. So this is just using two pips. The white fully on the left and this black one just to the right of it. Come here and set it to like an orange color like that. And I can pull this out maybe just a little bit more, and then we can turn the strength up. See, that's cool. That's all right. That's all right. I can live with that. Let's go here. Maybe a touch more in the red spectrum. Let's see if we can get the explosive bit kind of shooting up behind this that I want to do. We also might want to have, I wonder if we want the lava pool idea. Let me try that. I'm going to go Shift A, Mesh, Plane, scale the plane out like this. Grab Z, we're going to drag it down. You can see we'll get these like, pools basically. And I'm going to take this and click New to create a new shader. And this one, I'm going to go for a Voronoi again and a color ramp. And we're going to just plug this like straight into the emission right here. Instead of white, I will go with more of like the lava red look. I'm going to turn the strength right up. And then I'll turn up the scale and let's see what we got. This would be noise. This would be better. Bring this right up. And then the roughness up and the detail up. And I'm going to make this black. So we're really just seeing that. Just turn that strength right up. Now let's go ahead and go Shift A, light, point light. And we're going to stick it right here. And we're going to give it an orange color. And I'll turn it up to 50. More of a reddish orange. And here, this is going to help kind of create a bit of light. Now what I could do is place it over these. I wonder. Turn the volume off on it. Oh, I lost everything. Turn all this back on. What this will do is this will actually like help emit actual light into the scene. And the reason I turn the volume off is because the light itself will start to show up in a setup like this. What I can do is I can go Shift A, Mesh, Plane. Might go out of rendered view for this. Turn on our controllers. Bring it up a little bit and bring it over. And I can come over here and I can turn on a particle system. So go to the particle tab, click the plus to add a particle system. And it's just going to automatically, have particles like this. And if I go to the velocity and I turn this up to 10, they're going to kind of fire up. Maybe 2. Let's see, 4. That's pretty good. Maybe a little bit higher. Yeah. Change the randomize on it. 1 maybe. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Might scale it down. So you're getting this like burst, right? So then what we can do is find a frame that's cool. We can go over here and go Shift A and then create, what do I want? Let's go for a meta ball. We could use this as our particle. So we just need to go back to our particle plane. We come down here to render, open that up, and switch from render as halo to render as object. And then we click on the meta ball object. Then scale, we can turn that scale up and scale randomness up. And then we can take this meta ball and change its settings. So influence threshold, good. Let's see, render viewport, stride 0.2, 0.1. We need it to be quite small. 0.05, so I'm just going to keep doubling it. 0.05 is good. Be a little careful. This is a great way to crash your computer. Just dragging values on the meta balls around. But I'll just change the influence down so things kind of look good. Also grab this main one and just bring it right down. So it's not a part of the system. So now you can see we got this cool lava look. And then I can grab the plane. We can kind of place it wherever we want. We get these cool increase the number of particles. Let's go to 3,000. Maybe increase this to like 8. Okay, let's go ahead and turn render view back on. I'm not sure where to put it yet, but we can figure that out. We can go to the meta ball, click new to create a new material. We can put the lava material on it. We already made some material 4. We need do the old classic Voronoi, color ramp, distance, Chipichev, or is it Manhattan? I think it's Manhattan. Mission. And then bring this up, set this to constant. This on the other side of it. Get these nice, fine sci-fi looking lines. And then make it blue. Strength right up. We use this for the emission strength. It will break it up a little bit. I can hit here, go for a vector math. And drop this here and set this to multiply. Now what we can do is we can drag all these values and multiply them up brighter to get the glow. Let's add one more point light in this. There. Cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. Had a lot of fun making this little sci-fi image. Hope you did too. Thanks for joining me for it. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, hit that like button. Thanks so much for checking it all out. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Until then, see you later. Bye.